Okay, this one is for anyone who ever doubts themselves, which I'm sure we all do. Like, if you've ever wondered, why is it so hard for me to believe in myself, even when I logically know that I am capable? This is going to make so much sense because the way that you feel about yourself today didn't start in adulthood. It started with what you learned and with what you absorbed in childhood. And so, before we go any further, I want to say this like upfront with so much compassion. If your self belief has always felt like a struggle, it's not because you were weak or broken. It's because you probably were taught to doubt yourself. Like, not on purpose, not because your parents didn't love you, but because most of us were raised in homes or schools or cultures that unintentionally trained us to question ourselves more than we trust ourselves. And so let's walk through this very gently. Like, we're not blaming, this is not about blaming the past, but just to help us truly understand it so that we can rewrite it, okay? Rewrite it moving forward. So, the first thing is you were not born doubting yourself. I'm sure if you've ever looked at a baby, you would know that that is true. Every child begins life with a natural sense of confidence. They don't question their ideas or their voice or their worth or their desires. They explore and they try and they fail and they try again without shame. So, if that, like if something has changed over time, it means something interrupted that natural self belief. Not because any child is not good enough, but because they learn like that being fully themselves wasn't safe or accepted or celebrated. So I want to share with you some common childhood messages that quietly can damage our confidence. And I want you to recognize like, do any ring true for you and still impact you as an adult? So the first is if you were ever praised for being good, like not for being you, like your flawless version of you, but being good. So maybe you learned that love came from, you being agreeable or quiet or helpful or easy to manage. And so you adapted, like you became who others needed you or wanted you to be, not who you actually were. It's almost like we're playing a role. And the result as an adult is that we second guess ourselves because we've learned to prioritize approval, being doing something that others approve of, rather than or over authenticity. The next thing to watch out for is if you feel like when you were a child, your feelings were minimized or dismissed. You might have heard as a kid, well, it's not that bad, or stop overreacting. What are you like being a sucky baby for? You're being too sensitive. And so, whatever you're experiencing, like your inner experience, started to be branded as wrong. And so then you struggle to trust your emotions or intuition or your needs moving forward because it's like we were told that something that we thought was real and true to us was actually not right to them, obviously. The next thing is in our childhood, if our mistakes were criticized and not normalized. That's why I made a big deal with my kids. Go ahead and make a million mistakes because it's part of how we learn to grow in life. But if you were punished and shamed or judged for getting things wrong, your brain probably created a rule that, equates mistakes with danger. And so now you hesitate to try or start or take risks because safety has become more familiar to you than growth. The next to watch out for is if comparison was used as motivation when you were young. Like if someone ever said to you, well, your sister could do that, look at how good they were. Why can't you be more like someone else? This has probably taught you one painful belief. Who you are isn't enough. Okay, so be better, be someone different. And so even when achieving, like whenever you try to achieve anything, that doesn't fix the wound, you know, because you never can be someone else. And so you keep on moving the goalpost on yourself, always trying to improve yourself. The next is if you growing up you learn that love was conditional. So maybe love or attention or approval felt like you had to earn it. It wasn't given to you naturally. And so now all you do is chase achievement or perfection or people pleasing, hoping that you deserve or that you've earned your right to belong. And so self belief becomes almost impossible when you're constantly trying to earn your own worth. Has any of that rung true to you? So here's a truth that's going to start the healing process for us. Like no matter what we've experienced in our childhood, we didn't fail when it came to being more confident, growing up to be confident individuals. We were trained away from it. And if your confidence was like learned away, it can be learned back. I always say, like anything that you've learned, you can unlearn. And rebuilding doesn't start with like affirmations or forcing confidence. It's about relearning how to trust yourself. It's very gently, one step at a time. And so I want you to know, I'm just going to offer you some reframes to help you rebuild your confidence now, because obviously we need to be more confident so we can trust ourselves more. Is like first understand that your self-doubt isn't your identity. It's just old conditioning. Okay? You learned to question yourself when you were young to stay safe, but that was survival. That was not truth. And now you're an adult and get to do things differently. The other thing is you're allowed to trust your inner voice, even if someone else disagrees. Your thoughts and your feelings do not need external permission to be valid. If they're real to you, they're real to you. Enough said. The next is you can be a work in progress and worthy at the same time. Both are true. Confidence is not an absence of flaws, it's self respect. Okay, while you are growing. Okay, respecting and allowing yourself to show up perfectly. The other thing that I want you to consider and to really latch onto is that you don't have to earn love, approval, or rest. You were born deserving. Look at a little baby. It's true. Okay, worth isn't something that you have to achieve. It's something you need to remember that you're worthy of it. And you have to learn to back yourself. And you can say that to yourself. I'm learning to back myself. Even before I feel ready. Self-belief grows when you choose yourself, not when you prove yourself to yourself. Okay, you're already worthy. You've got to choose yourself. And so I want to offer you a very gentle confidence building practice for the next week. For the next 7 days, just like put your hand to your heart or whatever feels normal to you and just ask yourself, what do I need today? And then honor what your brain is offering you, okay, in a tiny way. Even if it's like just doing a tiny little thing. You don't have to get it right. You don't have to impress anyone, but you've got to teach your brain, my voice matters. My needs matter. I matter. That is how confidence is rebuilt through repeated moments of you honoring yourself and your needs, you listening to what your needs are, not having someone else tell you you've got to think this or do this. What do you want? What do you need? If this has landed with you, I've created a free guide with 5 powerful thought shifts that are going to help you take action very gently without waiting for confidence or permission first. Okay, we always give permission to ourselves. We don't need it from anyone else. The link is inside the description. And if you want to go deeper into self-belief and self-trust and just becoming a person that can achieve her goals without sacrificing her soul or her sanity and in a way that you are backing yourself, Inspiring Life Academy is where I teach everything that I have learned over 20 years of coaching inside my courses and coaching roadmaps, and you're welcome to explore it if it feels aligned to you. But my final little note is this. If no one has ever taught you this or told you this before, okay, you don't have to do anything to be more worthy. You already are worthy. Okay, you just need someone to remind you of this, that this is true. Okay, because once upon a time, the world might have tried to tell us differently. Okay, and they might have taught it, the world might have taught us to doubt ourselves, especially very easy to happen when other people doubt themselves. Okay, they just pass on that learned behavior to us. But if you're ready and you're allowed to take up space in your own life, you can honor your own needs. You're allowed to grow into the version of yourself, like who knows that and who is willing to trust herself. And so if that has resonated with you, tell me in the comments, what's a childhood belief that you are ready to release? I'm sure that I have had to release plenty, dozens. Okay, but this is something you can learn to do. And so if you were taught to doubt yourself, you can teach yourself how to trust yourself more. And I do hope that you embrace all of the suggestions that I have offered you in this video, because this is where we need to start. It's not by trying to shame yourself or trying to force yourself to do differently or like just get over it. It's not that. You do this work, okay? Something happened in the past that taught us to not believe in ourselves. And we get to do the work now to believe in ourselves. It is always up to you. Take personal responsibility for your life. That is the best place to start, my friend. And I will catch you in the next video.